guys, Gene here with G Squared Tactical, looking at the Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0 chambered in 10mm, the PC, the one with the PC treatment, the Performance Center treatment. A little bit of pertinent information. The width on this is about 1.3. The overall length is like 8.6. The overall height without the optic, of course, it's about 5.6, weighing in about 31.5 ounces. And you do get 2 magazines. They are 15+1. Does have raised night sights, which you know that I'm a huge fan of. And it does have an ambi thumb safety, ambi slide lock, and also a swappable mag release. It is the Ergonomics. I guess that's how you say that. Anyway, maybe I said that wrong. Anyway, maybe I'm a retard. I don't know. Inbred, whatever people call us. But anyway, it is the, I think it's called Ergonomics finish. It's a really good finish that I've always liked. That's one of the things that I've really always liked about the M&P firearms, is the finish is super durable. And anyway, as you guys know, last year when they released the standard version of this, we picked it up. There was a lot of controversy around it. The video's done really well on the channel because people complained about it not feeding, having problems. And as you know, we didn't have that problem. I strapped on a GoPro. We went out to the range. I was by myself essentially, and I shot buffalo, boar, hot stuff, slow stuff, fast stuff, lightweight stuff, heavy stuff. Everything I put through it, it ate it right up with no problems. And just to tell you a little bit about what I've been looking for. Now, in a lot of cases, we get these guns to review, and we do so because they're popular, other people want to see them. But in the case of a 10mm, I am intrigued by the 10mm round, but I have yet to find a gun that meets all the requirements for me in the 10mm platform that I would carry around. So this is actually a hunt for me. So I didn't get this just because it's new and people want to see it. I actually have intentions of possibly carrying this gun. So a little history on that is the smoothest shooting, most accurate 10mm pistol that I've ever owned in my life is a 6-hour 1911 TAC op. Just absolutely love that pistol in a 10mm platform. It handled recoil like none other that I've had, okay? But it has its drawbacks, being a 1911. It's got some weight on it, of course. It's low capacity. And so I've went everywhere from a G29, G20, G40, the Springfield XDM, I forget which model I had. Where else have I been? A Thesis. I've had all kinds of 10mm. And the one that, actually the Springfield probably handled the recoil the best out of all of them, but it still was not the TAC op. It didn't handle it that way. And I understand that was a full metal frame and everything, so of course it probably would. But out of all of them, the one that we did last year, I liked the Smith & Wesson 2.0 10mm, and the best out of all of them. Now, I did complain on the table about the trigger being a new trigger. I was disappointed in it, but out at the range it was kind of a non-issue. And as you know, I'm not really a trigger snob. I don't really like this aggressive sandpaper texture on the Smith & Wesson platform, but heck, I could put a Hogue grip or a Talon grip or something over that. Again, mostly a non-issue. And so the thing for me on the original one was that it just didn't handle the recoil that well. I mean, the recoil was intense. My wife shoots and enjoys shooting a LCRX 357 Magnum and prefers to shoot the 357 over the 38 Special that it will also handle, but she didn't want to shoot this more than about 3 times. Well, not this one specifically, but the original non-Performance Center version of this one, because it just did not handle the recoil all that well, which was surprising given that, it was a full-size gun. That was really surprising. And so that was the reason why I ended up selling it to Trey. Trey bought it from me, And I semi sort of did regret it. You know, it was accurate enough being optic ready. It did eat anything I put in it. It had the great, I think the finish that they put on is melanite, but they call it something else. It's like maybe their brand or something. I don't know. I'm still hung up on the whole finish thing. It's a great finish, okay? Anyway, aesthetically, I liked how it looked. I'm typically not a huge fan of how Smith & Wesson guns look aesthetically, but it, you know, I'm okay with it. I like it. It does, as I mentioned, have the ambi safety. If you like that, you like that. If you don't, you don't. Whatever. I mean, I kind of do. I like the safety. I don't mind it. I kind of like riding it when I'm shooting. It helps me control it a little bit. And also I have the safety. I mean, I don't know. If you don't like it, you don't like it. I think it makes it look better. It kind of kills that void in there. Makes it look aesthetically more pleasing. Again, the ambi takedown or slide lock, if you will. Sorry, the ambi slide lock, and it is a swappable mag release, and it does come with 4 palm swells. I believe it's a small, a large, a medium large. I think that's what that is. And then I have the medium on here that came with it. Feels great. Super easy to replace the back strap. I'm sorry, the palm swell. As I mentioned before, you know, a lot of times they can be a pain in the neck. You got to drive these pins and things out. Be really, really aggravating. This is probably the easiest palm swell replacement or back strap replacement on any gun I've ever owned. I can really appreciate that. I do really appreciate that. And it makes changing it out at the range super quick if you find at the range that it doesn't work as well for you as you would have hoped. Anyway, it does not have flared mag well, although it does have the 2 half moon cutouts here at the bottom of the mag well for you to rip your magazine out should it not fall. But it does seemingly fall out just fine. As you know, I'm a little bit of a snob about not having to adjust my grip to drop the magazine, and it handles that job very, very well. It's not extended. It is very flush fitting and is snag free, but I can still manipulate it just fine without changing my grip. I really, really like the takedown. Just turn the takedown lever, I guess that would be, what that be, clockwise, and just take it right off. Easy enough. Does have a polished feed ramp on the barrel. I really do like the takedown. Everything about it is easy. Changing the palm swell is easy. The takedown is easy. And like I said, it does have the polished feed ramp on the barrel. The one-piece stainless guide rod. And the reason that I picked it up is because I was like, you know what, out of all of them, besides the TAC Op, of course, that I tried, the Smith & Wesson was the one I actually liked the best, which is very surprising. But the barrel is ported as well as the slide. A lot of times you just get these vented or ported slides, and it gives this impression that maybe it'll help handle the recoil, when the reality is maybe it just balances the pistol better, or maybe it just helps keep the barrel cooler. It's not really ported. It's not doing anything to dissipate recoil in any way, but this actually is. It is. The barrel is actually ported. This gun is full of moisture right now from all of the humidity out here in North Carolina right now, and I do HVAC. I own an HVAC business, and Trey and I basically run that, and Trey also owns a landscaping business, and we've just been very busy. We haven't got to get to the range, and I'm sorry about that, but I just haven't got to shoot it yet, but we can't wait for that. I can't really say anything bad about this gun. The things that I am a snob about, the mag release, great, wonderful, does the job. It doesn't just have raised sights on it to be able to co-witness with your with your optic, which, you know, I firmly believe if you're going to make an optic ready pistol, you need to have co-witnessing sights. That's just a hang up for me. I'm a snob about it. But not only do they take care of that, but they're actually tritium filled night sights that show up white During the day, 3-dot white, and at night it illuminates a nice green color at night to pick up at nighttime. I really like that. Not only are they co-witnessing and raised, but they also are night sights. You do have your standard fish gill rear serrations here, if you will. I mean, there are a little here at the front, but they're not very usable. We had us a little friend drop by. I don't know, you can semi sort of manipulate it there, but it's not really usable front serrations here. It is divoted a little bit or indented here on each side. I think you could probably get a better purchase on it from that than you would these little serrations, if that's what you want to call them. Does have a 3-slot pick rail on the front that I had my TLR 7A mounted on there. Looked really nice, very functional, came back well into the trigger guard. Nice, large, rounded, square-ish trigger guard. Definitely wouldn't have a problem getting your finger in there with gloves or big fat meaty hands like mine. Trigger, same as the trigger as far as I can tell. Trigger pull seems to be the same. It's you know, still has the same amount of take up, which is a good bit. But once it hits the wall, it's what you would expect it to be. And you know, it breaks about 90 degrees as the other one did. There's, you know, on the other one, the first one we had, it had this false reset on it. This one doesn't have that, it seems, when it resets. I mean, the reset is tactile, but it's not audible. I don't know if you, I mean, you can hear it a little bit, but it's certainly not super tactile, but you can feel it on your finger. So you know, again, I'm not a trigger snob. It feels mostly the same as the other one. I don't know if they get better triggers on the Performance Center, if they've worked them in any way, but it feels the same as the original one to me. Has the same amount of take up, which again, like I said, is a good amount of take up. It almost feels like a double strike on the Taurus. Maybe not that bad, but it is a lot of take up. It does have the center blade safety here, and like I said, I mean, it breaks at 90 degrees. It does feel like once you hit a wall and you think it's going to break, it pulls a little bit more. But there's no grit in the trigger. You know, on the other one I complained because the trigger was very gritty. Very smooth trigger. It hits a wall and it does creep a little bit more, and then it breaks about 90 degrees, and it does have a relatively short reset. I mean, tactile as far as pushing back on your finger, yes, but not very audible. But again, you know, I'm not a trigger snob, so I'm not really going to drive that home. Does have the ported barrel, ported slide, as I've already mentioned, and I can't wait to get this thing to the range to see how it's going to perform at the range. I know I've left some things out. Before all you trolls and snobs, like, man, you have got to have some thick skin to do this stuff. If we left anything off, I'm sorry. There's a lot going on with firearms. I mean, I can't dive down into this thing. You know, everybody knows that the reason why TikTok and some of these shorts and things are so popular because people have low attention spans. I mean, if you want me to go dive down into this thing and take all the internals and firing pins and everything else out of this thing, then you know what? Let me know that. Maybe I'll send you a private video that's 35 minutes long, but nobody else wants to see all of that. They just want to know about the most pertinent information about the gun, and I think that I've handled that. As I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but it is truly optic ready. Another thing that I'm a snob about. If you're gonna make an optic ready gun, you know what? Don't make people go home, put in their email so you can send them 14 emails a day about your products, and so they can get a free plate. Now put the freaking plates in the bag, you know, put it in the box. make it truly optic ready. When they go home that evening, let them put an optic on the gun. You know what I'm saying? Don't make them wait 3 weeks to get a plate so now they can have their optic ready gun. That's just not a good move, you know. I really appreciate the fact that they put the plates in the box, and it's basically anything you want to mount. It's all right here. I have the RMR on here, as you can see. Again, it does have the raised night sights. Again, truly optic ready. Once you get your optic on there, not only can you use your standard iron sights, but you can also use the optic should it not fail or the battery be okay. So I really like that. I did mention the palm swells. It does come with a nice Performance Center molded plastic box, if you will. Not much of anything in there, just a bunch of foam and a lock. That's I mean, whatever, it's a box, but that's nice. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I really do. Again, don't be a snob. Don't be a, I say a snob, don't be a butthole and point out the one thing we didn't mention like somebody did, where they literally told my man basically that he was a complete idiot because he left out the fact that you could change out the internals. Like, so it's kind of like the SIG where it had the different what do they call them, the modules, if you will. It was an oversight on his part. The gun was new to us as well. That guy did not tell him that because he wanted, obviously he knew, right? So why did he need us to tell him? No, he wasn't very overly concerned about other people's knowledge of the gun and whether or not they knew. He was just trying to be that guy that looks like he's, you know, oh, I know so much. And don't be that guy. If I left something out, if I didn't mention something, if I said something and used the wrong grammar in saying it, you know what, leave it alone. If you don't like the video because of that, then just move on. Keep your comments to yourself and watch somebody else, okay? We're trying to have a good time, trying to tell you a little bit about our experience. And most of the people that we meet in the gun stores are not those people. They're not some of the big gun channels that you see out there where people are shooting through holes and being real tactile and everything, clearing houses. Those are not the people that you're meeting at the gun store most of the time. They are everyday blue-collar guys like ourselves that just want to talk in a simple way about firearms, and that's what we hope to be able to accomplish. And we really hope to get this to the range real soon, and we do genuinely appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you hit the thumbs up and subscribe if you have not already. And again, God bless. Thanks so much for watching.